Hi, I'm JimmyNavio.
Hi. So I thought I muted my mic. If you're watching live on Twitch, you got some background noise during the intro music and some coughing, as was pointed out by our audience. Sorry about that. I thought the mic was muted. I'm gonna have to go back and check it, make sure I didn't say anything stupid. We're back. It's been a couple weeks, but I was feeling the itch. I wanted to get an episode out. I know I keep saying we're going to get back to doing this thing weekly. It's probably going to be a bit until that happens. I'm going to try and get them out as often as I can, but wedding pressures and other side gigs are consuming much of my time at the moment, so I'll do what I can. Maybe I'll be able to talking behind the scenes about tagging in some of the other guys if I'm not able to do it. So we'll see if we can work something like that out. But for those out there listening, this is Hit the Bucket number 38, podcast number 38, and one day we'll hit 50 if I can keep this thing going long enough. If you're out there listening and you want to come hang out and join us live, we record this live on Twitch. I'm not going to say every Wednesday night because that is an absolute lie. It's not even Wednesday, and it's been 2 weeks. So just come follow my channel on Twitch, JimmyNavio. Just go follow JimmyNavio and turn on notifications, and you'll know when the podcast is happening. That's probably the best way to be notified. Because my schedule's all over the place. Don't forget, we have a YouTube channel if you want to listen and watch these episodes after the fact. Also have hitthebucket.com. And if you want to reach out to us, hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. We want to hear from you. If you have someone you want us to interview as a guest, if you've got promotional ideas, topic ideas, questions, whatever. You just want to tell me about your day? I want to know. Maybe we'll someone write me a short story that we can read on the podcast. Anything. Please talk to me. I'm lonely. Send those emails. That's it, I think, on the business side of things. There was something else business-wise I was going to say. I can't remember. We'll talk about it later. Probably not important. Let's bring our trusty co-host on, Mr. James 28. He's out there being quiet while I'm making ass of myself on the intro. Let's bring him on. Hello.
Well, hello there.
How's it going?
How's it going?
I said it first.
Jinx. Owe me a soda.
It's going well. Busy. Super busy.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently,
So what I've heard.
getting married actually takes up some time and energy. I think I would know that by now.
It also adds like 10 times the price on anything you want.
That's true. Yeah, we haven't even finished our registry yet. We gotta go do that whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
We sent out.
You say, I want a cake, and they're like, oh, what's the occasion? You say, oh, a wedding, and then they turn to the person on the left and they're like, mark it up. 10 times. They're gonna pay for it. They don't have a choice.
Exactly. Yeah, we sent out the save the dates. Did you? Oh no, I think we sent it to your California address.
I did see it though.
Oh, you did? Did your family let you know?
My mother texted me an image of it. Like, what is this? Who are these people? And I'm like, oh, you know JimmyNavio, you know the guy I do the podcast with. Well, he's getting married, so I assume that this is the save the date. Go ahead and open it. And she opens it, and it was a beautiful image of our boy Jimmy with Lady Navio. Perfect lighting, a very nicely done photo.
Yeah, we got a decent photographer. That was probably the best picture in the batch too. We really liked that one, so good. I'm glad that it passed the James standards. It got the James seal of approval. So you're almost done, aren't you?
I am, yeah. After tomorrow, I'll have 1 week of normal classes and then finals.
And then you're done. Unless you...
Till next year.
You shit the bed on finals.
I hope not. It's all papers, so it's like as long as I turn them in, I think I'm good. Like I'm pretty sure even if I failed like 50% all of my papers, I'm still gonna pass with at least a C.
Yeah.
So I'm not really worried. But I know I'm gonna be like what I always do, where it's well the paper's not due for another 2 weeks, and then 1 week,
Yep.
then 5 days, then 3 days, then tomorrow, and now I'm panicking to like finish all these papers. It's like why did you do this? Why did you leave it to 2 weeks later, James, to get all this done? You could have just scheduled it all out, like done a page today, page tomorrow, finish it in a week. So I have a notebook right here. I wrote down all the dates that they're due, so it's a constant reminder. I still haven't started any of the papers though.
Oh, James.
Gotta do that.
Why are you doing a podcast right now? You should be writing papers.
All work and no play makes James a dull boy.
Yeah, well, I see how often you're on playing games.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about
You
it.
don't know how many times I've told someone like, "Oh no, I can't do something with you right now. Like, I'm really busy." And then like 10 minutes later, they at me saying, "Why are you playing Risk of Rain?"
I called out.
And I'm like, look, I was doing work. And then I took a short break. I was only going to do a short run. It's been 2 hours. I'm still alive.
You gotta turn on invisible mode in Discord or whatever.
I know. I need to get on that. There's a lot of times too, I'll forget because I'm like, oh, I was being sneaky last night. I didn't want people to know I was still awake. I told them I was going to bed early.
That's dishonest, James. You should,
I only
if
do
someone's
it-
like, "Hey, let's do this," be like, "Nah, I'm gonna play games by myself instead." Just be honest. That you don't gotta hide in the shadows.
I do say that as long as when I say that when it's something like not very important.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm just like,
When it's
Red, but
KPC
ignored.
asking you if you've got all the videos done, that's
Yeah.
when you go to invisible mode.
like, oh, I just turned the laptop off. Sorry, I didn't see that.
Terrible.
Yeah, but I mean, it's hard to like stop a conversation when like on a service like Discord.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's pretty much like if you're online, that's like an open invitation to anyone to just like pop in and start trying to talk to you.
Right.
It's so hard to just be like, I am done with this conversation. I am now leaving to do something else. Like,
Yeah.
no, you never really can be sure who has the last word. So a lot of times I'll just be like, this is a good place to stop, and then I just leave because it's like, if they respond, I'm gonna have to respond and then keep going for like another 2 hours. I'm not good at saying no and leaving a conversation.
Yeah, that reminds me of so my dad has this his best friend since like high school who's like independently wealthy. He owns an aeronautics plating company, so they like plate all of the parts that go on like airplanes and spaceships and stuff. It was a business that he inherited from his father and then like turned around and made like a, multi-million-dollar like company. It's my dad's best friend basically, and so every once in a while he'll just get a random invite from him to go be like, "Hey, I got box seats at the Laker game," or just like just randomly he'll invite my dad to stuff. And my dad's like, I love hanging out with him, but he's the type of person who will literally just like, it'll be a bunch of people hanging out or whatever, and he'll just be like, all right, I'm tired, and he'll just leave. Like right in the middle. It doesn't matter if they're like, just took a shot, or if they're in the middle of like a round of golf or, whatever. When he decides he's done, he just like in that moment, it just like leaves whenever he feels like it. And like, he's like, you kind of have to respect it, right? But at the same time, you could see how that could be construed as rude. But like, he's so like wealthy and just like doesn't give a shit about anything. Like, you almost have to respect the fact that when he's done, he's just like, all right, see you later, and just get in his car and go home. Because like, we tend to like want to not be rude, or like, like you said, have the last word, or like tend to be people pleaser, and you don't want to like it's always awkward to like say goodbye or end a conversation or whatever. But he like just straight up when he's done, he's just like, all right, guys, have a good night. I'm tired. No, just leave. It's, I don't know.
Yeah. Especially too, like, I don't know if your parents ever did this, but my parents, they'd say, okay, we're leaving. And then in like an hour and a half, that's when we leave. Because they'd be taking the time to talk to everybody before we even leave. And that kind of like grew on me a little bit. Like, oh, I can't just leave like a place I'm at, like a gathering. I have to say goodbye to everyone, have a short chat.
Yeah.
But then like 20 short chats turns into like an hour. And suddenly you're late to the next thing you're going to do because you were just saying bye to everybody.
Yeah, I call that the goodbye tour.
Mm-hmm.
It never, you know, you're saying goodbye for an hour and a half. It's definitely an issue. It has been in the past for me. I've literally stayed on the phone with people for like hours just because neither person was willing to like end the conversation.
Yeah, exactly. Like you'll just be chatting with someone and then, or you'll both like acknowledge like, oh yeah, this is the end of the conversation. Like we should really hang up. But then no one really wants to take that step to be like, okay, bye, and then hangs up. Like someone will bring up something else like from left field and you'll start talking about that.
Yeah.
And in your head, you're like, huh, I feel like this conversation ended 10 minutes ago, but we're still talking.
Well, and it seems like sometimes like that's desirable. Like there are times where like it's just a really good natural conversation and you're like, oh shit, it's been 2 hours. But then there's other times where you're like, I really need to go to bed and this conversation just won't end. And you're like, appreciate talking to that person, but at the same time, you're just like,
I am tired.
And
I just want to sleep.
Yeah, it's worse when it's one-on-one. That's like, you know, if there's at least 3 or 4 people, then you don't feel as rude if you're just like, all right, I got to go home and then like leave the 2 people there. But if it's down to just those 2 and the other person's like totally into what you're doing and you're just kind of done. Yeah, that can take some cojones to just be like, I don't want to hang out anymore. I want to go home and play video games, or I'm tired. Like, so worried about like offending someone or disappointing someone.
Yeah, because you don't want to be rude.
Right.
Like the best example of that, I was hanging out at my friend's place like the other day. We were watching one of the Pokemon films like from 2004. I forget which one it was, but then it was already 11, and we were like, "Oh, are we gonna watch another movie?" And I'm like, "Oh, sure. Like it's only 11. I'm not too tired." But then we started a conversation. We're talking. It's now 1 a.m. and I'm like, kind of want to go home. Like I don't dislike the conversation. I'm just tired now.
Yeah.
Like it's 1 a.m. I've been awake since 7. I just want a nap. So I'll like try to close it. Like try to be subtle. Like I'll start taking out my phone. Like, oh, would you look at the time? It's already so-and-so time. But then you keep talking anyway, and it doesn't really like get through to the other person.
Yeah. Social cues, man.
Could be tough.
It's the curse of hanging out with nerds. They're not always good at social cues. I was trying to think of stuff that I wanted to talk about today, and one thing that I've been wanting to talk about for weeks, and I mentioned it like in our chat group, and I know I'm probably gonna get shit from a lot of people for this because like, anyway, I could get into it, but there's been a lot of music lately that I've been wanting to talk about, and I've been super excited about, and number 1 on my list, which please email me how you feel about this, but Billie Eilish's new album is so fucking good. And I know like her fan base is all like 15-year-old girls. I'm in their Discord. I know what goes on.
I mean, considering the main person other than you I know that really loves Billie Eilish is 15. Makes sense.
I'm gonna stand by it, and I'm gonna say like whatever like chart topping shit or whatever like praise or recognition that she gets, she deserves it because that album is insane. I may have been slightly influenced by The Devil's Lettuce the first time I listened to it, but regardless of that, it's a solid album, and like the audio engineering and some of the like just really cool stuff that they tried to do is pretty unique. And I think it doesn't like it. I think she accomplished her goal of not fitting into a specific category. She's like, I don't want to be pop. I don't want to be hip hop. But she dresses kind of hip hop, and she kind of like has like overlapping fans from that world. But like her music's kind of poppy, but it's kind of got a dark side to it. Like there's some stuff on there that's super jazzy. Like it's pretty cool. She's willing to like just try whatever the fuck, and her brother is like the guy who's producing and engineering most of it. And it's awesome. And supposedly her performance at Coachella that just happened was like, a lot of people are saying, wow, like out of nowhere, because she just dropped her album and then she just like blew up at Coachella. So I'm calling her right now. She's going places.
Might have to give her full album a listen to that, because I listened to like the first song and I was like, it's not bad, but it's not really what I'm into.
No, the first.
But I'm also the guy that's really into a lot of K-pop, so my opinion is pretty much like worthless anyway. So it's like,
so a couple of things. The first half of the album is more upbeat and poppy, and then it kind of gets like darker and slower as the album goes on. And then on top of that, like it's pretty refreshing, some of the stuff that she talks about. For example, one of the songs is called Zanny, and the whole song is basically an anti-drug song. It's basically all about how like she grew up with this group of friends, but like now that they're starting to like drink and smoke and do drugs and stuff, like they're just not the same people. And like they'll all get together, and like literally the only thing they have in common is that they're sharing an ashtray and drinking. Like, you know, like they're just not interesting people anymore, because like drugs have taken over any like fun, interesting part part them. And they like,
yeah, it pretty much became like their personality.
Right,
it's like,
exactly.
That's Jake over there. He drinks. Like,
yeah.
That's it.
It's really interesting because she's 17. And so to have like a 17-year-old in Hollywood, like raised in Los Angeles, to like basically come out and like be anti-drug and like promote people to be interesting, and like she doesn't dress provocative in any way. It's like she's the complete opposite of Nicki Minaj, right? Like she wears these big baggy outfits, like buttoned all the way up to the neck, and like very like a lot of like chains, almost like a hint of goth, but like hip hop goth. It's really interesting how she's like kind of breaks a lot of the stereotypes of like the typical 17-year-old pop diva, right? Like it's very different from the Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears shit that that was coming out when I was like in junior high school. So I don't know. It's refreshing. I think it's I think pop music has been kind of missing the darker, edgier side lately. Like, you know, when I remember when Marilyn Manson was like all over MTV, like he was kind of anti-pop, like this goth pop metal guy who somehow, you know, made a name for himself when he was surrounded by all of these bubblegum pop bands. You know, Marilyn Manson comes out like showing his ass cheeks on MTV during his live performance, and was like, what the fuck? Like, it was very jarring.
It was very provocative.
Yeah. And then like, you know, I remember when 9 Inch Nails, you know, came out, like there used to be a darker side of pop. There was always kind of the counter. It's poppy stuff, but it's kind of got a different edge to it. And I kind of, I don't know. I hope my hope is that Billie can kind of, because her videos are all like really kind of dark and creepy, and like she explores a lot of ideas about like suicide and death and fucking stuff like that. So I don't know. It's refreshing.
Did you see much of the conspiracy about how Billie Eilish is a industry plant
Yeah, well, people say that because her parents are also in the industry. Like she grew up in the industry. You know, she was like raised as a dancer until she like broke her leg, and like, you know, she is that. I mean, she's an LA. She was raised in the culture and whatever, and so. But that being said, she does write. Her and her brother pretty much write and produce all their own stuff. So
yeah, because I remember seeing that and I was like, really? You like? Do you really think it's true, or do you just like dislike her that much?
Right.
And then the biggest thing like I saw to it was like, oh, really? She's an industry plant. It's like, sure, her parents are in the industry, but the biggest thing they were in was a movie that they co-produced and acted in. And you're telling me that they couldn't, like, with those connections they supposedly have, they didn't propel themselves to like the forefront of the industry?
yeah,
So it's like you got to give her credit on her own merits. It's good.
yeah, and for every Billie Eilish that has parents who raised them in the industry, there's hundreds of kids whose parents are actors and singers who don't do shit with their lives, who basically live off of their parents' wealth, right? So
Pretty much, yeah.
I mean, yeah, she may have had a leg up because, you know, she probably had some connections and some doors were open for her because of, you know, her family and where she was raised and all that stuff. Obviously gives her an advantage, right? She probably wouldn't have had it as easy if she was born in Ohio or something. But that being said, she still had to do the work. Like, there's lots of famous kids who are total pieces of shit that don't do anything. They don't contribute to society in any way other than like showing up at clubs and like doing
spending daddy's money.
doing like random TV spots.
The economy, Jimmy.
Dancing with the Stars and shit. But like, I don't know. I like, respect to her. She was given the resources and the connections, and she made something out of that. So whatever, people are gonna hate. I think she's talented as fuck, so I hope to see more from her in the future. I think as long as she doesn't do anything stupid, I think she has a long successful career ahead of her, especially if she stays on the anti-drug thing and doesn't end up like, you know,
the other ones,
all the other ones
that use a lot of drugs and then don't have happy endings.
Yeah, exactly. Pretty much all the major pop artists, either pop, rock, rap, pretty like the ones that eventually get clean, or at least get clean enough to not like go down that, they're still around and they're still successful, right? Like Eminem, he was headed to a real bad place, and you know, he rehabbed and still making music. And I don't know. I think you know, one of the biggest ones for me, not necessarily a musician, but the biggest transformation of someone who like cleaned up their life is fucking Steve-O. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
From Jackass, my God, he looks like a completely different person.
Yeah, and he talks about it a lot too, like how messed up his voice is now, and he's like, yeah, this is all because of that lifestyle I lived before.
Yep.
But I deal with it now, and I'm a better person.
Exactly. Yeah, I don't know.
And now he goes like, makes documentaries, finds a dog in like a South American country, and then like takes it home with him.
Yeah, I did watch some of that. That was pretty cool how he like just picked a random dog and like took it home and rehabbed it.
He was like, I want a dog to share this journey with me, and then he found a dog just on the streets.
Yeah, it's I mean, it's hard, I guess. I can't imagine. I don't live like deep in that industry, but I have friends who are kind of in that industry, and it's pretty interesting how widespread and just like prominent that is. It's just ingrained in the culture. But if she can avoid that, she's got a successful career ahead of her. I think she'll be around for a while. Also, a friend of mine from high school, a good friend of mine who has been in various bands. His band was called Hey Mike, but he also wrote and produced with the band Yellow Card for a while. He's a guitarist and a singer. He just came out with a new album. His band is called Brookhurst. You guys can look it up.
Brookhurst.
It's on Spotify. If you like 90s like pop punk, he's extremely talented. He writes and produces and records most of his stuff. Like he plays drums, guitar, bass. Like he tracks a lot of it himself, and the vocals. They just came. He just came out with a new album, and I think he might be. I don't know if he's gonna tour or anything, but the album's really fantastic. He actually remade a few of his old Hey Mike songs from back when I knew him, and they're on this album. So yeah, if you like pop punk, check that out. I forget what the album is called. I should look it up. The band is called Brookhurst, though. His name is Stephen Newfield. I don't feel bad doxing him because he's
a public figure now.
Yeah. I mean, if you look up Hey Mike or Craig's brother or Brookhurst, you're going to see his name. He's pretty much been involved with a lot of like the pop, like poppier side of punk for the last like 10 or 20 years. So let me see. Brookhurst. Let's see what this album is called. It is called Heartstrings. So check that out. One other one that I wanted to mention that I just found out about. His name is, I don't know how to pronounce this. It's either Bibio or Bibio. It's
B-I-B-I-O.
B-I-B-I-O. B-I-B-I-O.
I think that's Bibio.
Yeah.
Like a Bibio. You know, the reference to the document that lists on your site, your cited sources.
A bio?
If you shorten it, yeah.
No, yeah, but he I don't know where he's from. All I know is I was like listening to music on Spotify one day, and at the top of the thing it's like, if you like, recommended just for you, new album by Bibio. And so I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Spotify's usually pretty good at like, they've got good algorithms. They recommend stuff to me and that I end up really liking. So I looked up Bibio. His new album is called Ribbons. And I listened to it from beginning to end, and it is amazing. I really don't know how to explain it. It's kind of like trippy 70s folky, like there's a little bit of electronic, atmospheric. Like I really don't know how to explain it. It's one of those things you just gotta listen to it, and you'll immediately know, like, oh yeah, it has like a familiar sound and feel to it, but you don't really know why. It's pretty magical.
I get that.
Anyway, by the way, Beat My Kids, I saw, just showed up in chat a second ago here on Twitch. I haven't seen him in a long time, so I did want to stop and say hello to Beat My Kids. He's from Canada. That's what they do there.
One with maple syrup.
I think that's it music-wise that I wanted to talk about. Billie Eilish I've been wanting to talk about for a few weeks, and then like just this week I found out about Bibio.
Did you listen to the song Old Town Road?
Which one is that?
By Lil Nas X.
No, I didn't. Tell me about it.
All right, so basically this song came out of nowhere by this young artist, Lil Nas X, and it rose to like the #1 spot on the Billboard chart for country music. And then Billboard took it off the list. They said, this isn't actually country music. So you know who rolls up to the studio? Full cowboy hat, boots, on a horse, the legends say. Billy Ray Cyrus shows up, takes the song, remixes it.
As a country song.
With his own vocals in it. It goes back onto the chart, takes the #1 spot again. And everyone loses their mind. It was phenomenal. And
that's crazy.
Pretty good song, yeah.
I'll have to check that out. I had no idea.
Old Town Road.
I don't follow the pop or the charts very closely. I should.
Oh, I don't either. The only, it's starting to like make its way around because that song, one of the main things people cited for the popularity was that it started getting used as a meme, like a meme song.
Yeah.
So on a lot of TikTok videos, it would start with that
Yeah.
and then go into like whatever skit it was. So that like played into the popularity. But then, yeah, once Billboard took it off saying, oh, this isn't country enough, Billy Ray Cyrus remixed it himself, put it out there again, and it just blew up even more.
That's crazy. I'll have to check it out. That sounds really interesting.
Song's a bop.
Yeah? Is it pretty catchy?
It's pretty catchy.
I like catchy songs.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of music, also Coachella was this week, right?
It was, yes. Billie Eilish performed.
I mentioned that briefly. I wanted to show this. I don't know if you've ever seen this video. I thought it was pretty funny. It's not even from this year. I think it's from a couple years ago. But I thought it was a pretty good depiction of our culture, especially like at special events.
Oh, I did see this video.
It's literally this big open area at Coachella, and every single person is like either posing for or taking a picture. Like there's music playing in the background, there's all these people around, like, and everyone's staring at their phones taking pictures, trying to get the perfect shot of them at Coachella.
The Coachella Content Farm.
And then the top comment, imagine someone brought a cell phone jammer to Coachella. Just walk around with a cell phone jammer in your pocket and just like create bubbles of havoc.
It's not updated to my Instagram. How am I supposed to let people know I'm at Coachella?
And then Crispy Audio, apparently he was saying that a stagehand fell to his death. I did not hear about that.
Neither did I.
So we're going to have to do some research on that. But yeah, one of my coworkers went to Coachella. Who did he mention? He mentioned that someone had a really amazing show that stood out to him. Tame Impala. He said Tame Impala's show was pretty like impressive, which I know who Tame Impala is. I've listened to some of his stuff, but he said that he was super impressed by the whole set. More so than he expected. So
the name rings a bell, but I don't think I've heard their music.
I think a couple of the videos from Coachella are on YouTube, so people can look those up. So yeah, a lot of exciting kind of music stuff going on lately. I think
I'm pretty sure, the K-pop sphere, I'm pretty sure Blackpink actually performed at Coachella this year.
Yeah, there was more of a K-pop presence. So that's K-pop, man. We all knew it was a force to be reckoned with, but now it's starting to come to fruition.
It's big. They're everywhere. Especially like the number of K-pop groups that are popping up and showing up on my radar. There's like a new one every like 4 weeks. I can't support them all, Jimmy. I just can't. There's too many. I don't have enough ears. Not enough time in the day.
I know. I never got past baby metal, dude. That's like my favorite. Are they Korean or are they Japanese?
I think that's Japanese.
Dude,
yeah, baby metal.
I fucking love baby metal. I like rock and metal though, I think, more than the average bear, but their stuff's pretty awesome. And I like that they actually like a lot of people accused him of just being like a same thing, like an industry plant, or that they were just like engineered to be successful because it's 3 cute Japanese girls in a metal band. But like they've done interviews and they're like actually really, they're all like fans of metal and they like knew their shit when they would talk about it and stuff, like, which I respect. And they've performed with a lot of like American metal bands and international metal bands and stuff. Like they're not just some cute girls that can sing that were thrown into a metal band. Like they're actually pretty passionate about it. So I thought that was pretty cool. Crispy Audio in Twitch chat says lead rigger since day one of the festival wasn't wearing his safety rig and fell 60 feet from the top of the stage to his death. During a live performance or like during setup? Because that would be pretty traumatizing if a dude fell from a rig during a show.
I mean, if it was during a show, imagine how many people would think like, oh, it's part of the performance, like not realizing a dude just plummeted to his death in front of him.
Yeah, that true. Depending on who, like if it was some beginning of setup. Oh, okay.
That's why we got OSHA.
Yeah, he wasn't. Who were we talking to about not putting on his harness when he worked construction? It was we had him on the podcast.
Oh, Launcher
Q, yeah. Launcher Q.
It took too long to put on the harness.
Yeah, he's like, it took way too long to put on the harness just to get up on the third floor to get the part I needed. And then like you read comments like Crispy Audios and you're like, dude, there's a reason. That's crazy. OSHA is crawling up their ass at the moment, I'm sure. Yeah, that's they weren't ensuring the safety of their workers.
It's inefficient, but it's like it's safety.
Right.
Doesn't matter how inefficient it is when someone's life could be on the line, and it was.
That's crazy. I did not hear about that. I'm gonna have to look that up afterward. Oh, one last music thing. I knew there was something I was leading up to. So there's been, you know who Lil Dicky is, right?
I do. Leftward. What is it? What's the one he says? He says
he has like all the AKAs.
Yeah, AKA like little penis, AKA leftward, like sloping one.
Yeah. Well, you know, he had his album that came out called Professional Rapper or whatever, and then he kind of dropped off the radar because I guess he's been working on a show and like all this stuff. Like his album opened a lot of doors for him, and he's always said that he wanted to get into comedy and acting, right? So like,
yeah, especially if you listen to his music, like,
right,
it's rap, but it's funny,
right? But he's also a really good rapper. Like his rap that isn't comedy rap is also really good. He's just a talented dude all around. But after his album came out, he kind of fell off the radar. He released a couple singles. He's been supposedly working on a movie or a TV show or something. But then like within the last couple weeks, he started dropping these like random hint tweets and stuff about like how a new single and videos dropping and all this stuff. And then like all these rumors started coming out. And then Justin Bieber followed Lil Dicky on Twitter and then like retweeted one of his tweets and said, let's save the world or something like that. And so people are like, oh shit, like is Lil Dicky and Justin Bieber, because Justin Bieber hasn't really been releasing a lot of stuff either. Like he kind of said that he was going to take some time off or whatever. So everyone started speculating, and it's been confirmed Lil Dicky was on the Ellen show like this morning. And he announced that he's releasing a song called Earth. And there are like 35 celebrities, I think at least, that are involved in this project. Like from Justin Bieber to Ariana Grande to, what's that actor's name from 3.5 Men? Charlie Sheen. Like there's just there's all these names that like all of a sudden were announced that are going to be involved in this video. And it comes out at midnight Eastern, which I think is 9 p.m. Pacific today. Yeah.
Oh,
so a couple hours after this podcast, and supposedly it's supposed to be like this huge project where he's trying to just unite the world, because it's like Earth Day, I think, is this weekend or something.
I mean, isn't it Easter? Good Friday's tomorrow.
I guess Earth Day is coming up or something.
Well, let's find out. We got Google Earth.
Yeah, we got with the technology. So anyway, he's releasing this video called Monday. Okay. He's releasing this video called Earth that's just like a conglomerate of celebrities all coming together to create this project, and he's kind of the one who's heading the whole thing up, I guess. And a lot of people are speculating, they're comparing it kind of like I don't know if you remember, well, you may not even been born, I don't know. But when I was a kid, Michael Jackson came out with a song called there's We Are the World, and then there's Heal the World. Heal the world, make it a better place. And then there's We Are the World. And
We are the children.
yeah, and it was just like all of these celebrities came together and recorded that song together, and like a different celebrity like sang each verse and chorus or whatever. So a lot of people are speculating that it's going to be something like that, where it's just like this giant. We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah, it's Lil Dicky though, so it could also be like a giant like joke.
Right.
So we can't be sure.
But I mean, the fact that Justin Bieber, like leading up to it, just started following him on Twitter and retweeting his stuff and saying let's like save the world and all this stuff. So yeah, it's either a really late April Fool's joke, or it could be the most epic music video made in the last 10 years. Who knows?
And Lil Dicky is the dude that made, I believe it was the most expensive music video and the cheapest music video.
Yeah, he did save that money, which was like basically he went around Hollywood and asked people if he could use their shit for free, and like made a video on $1,000 budget or something like that.
Yeah, that was good. And then they returned the cameras that they used for it as well to get it back down to zero.
He like he convinced like a Lamborghini dealership to let him like use the car in the video, and he met some old lady who let her use their mansion to like record and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
So it's definitely like in the style of something he'd do. Yeah,
he's got the ambition, like he's got the drive to do it, you know. So it could be interesting. I'm really curious to see. By the time anyone hears this podcast, it'll already be out. So I'm gonna say now that it will be successful. That's my prediction. People are gonna be talking about it. Maybe even memes.
Oh, definitely memes. Every single screen cap is gonna be scrubbed for the opportunity. The meme economy, it's gonna go crazy.
Yep. I hate to admit that it took me far longer than it should have for me to discover that subreddit.
Oh, meme economy.
Meme economy, yeah. Same with YouTube Haiku. Those are two that like a lot of people got their start too. I was just recently listening to Gus Johnson did a podcast on H3H3, and they were kind of comparing how they both came up like on YouTube, and they were talking about how they like early on they got a lot of their traction from YouTube Haiku. So that surprised me because I had no idea that subreddit had been around for so long and that it was so popular.
It's pretty big because it's actually something I've noticed, because a big meme in like the Twitch community is like, oh, how do you get big on Twitch? And it's like, be famous somewhere else and then come to Twitch. And it's how you can grind and have amazing content, but if no one sees it,
right,
you're not going to get anywhere. So places like YouTube Haiku, where someone says, hey, this is something really good, look at it, and gets posted, tons of upvotes, millions of eyes looking at it, and then that propels people. That's like the big boost that it takes to really like push them into the next phase of like their development.
Yeah, you got to get eyeballs on it somehow. Yeah, it's a grind, but there's smart ways to go about it. I'm in there's also a subreddit called NewTubers, which is like YouTubers with smaller channels. And it's interesting like looking at their different like trials and conversations and stuff about like what's worked for them and what hasn't. And like one guy straight up the other day was like, oh yeah, he's like, self-posting works as much as nobody, like they'll give you shit for it. He's like, just find the right subreddits and post your own shit on there and it'll get eyeballs. So he was just like really shameless about it.
He's not wrong.
Yeah.
But he ain't right.
I mean,
because it works. Like, yeah. I know a few people that like I only discovered them because they self-promoted in like a Discord channel's like self-promote section.
Well, yeah, and it's funny how like in most other industries, it's not. I mean, it's not like as taboo as it is online for some reason. In most sales job, like advertising is expected and it's part of, no one would ever get mad at like Coca-Cola for having self-promoting ads on television or whatever. Like most companies because if you're an online celebrity, like you're a streamer or YouTuber or whatever, you are the product. And so to expect people who are in that position not to promote themselves is just kind of like silly, because your whole point is to gain popularity and to get more people to watch you and to promote yourself. So like, I don't know. Mm-hmm. People want everything to be so organic, like they don't want to feel like they're being tricked or advertised to or whatever, when in reality that's all it is. Mm-hmm. And anyone who tries to pretend that they don't want to grow, they're not being honest. Like you can be like, you can all say that you're doing this because you enjoy doing it, but like at some level we're all chasing the same carrot, right? No one's going to be like, no, I wish I was less popular. Like that's just not.
Yeah, it's like that idea is always going to be in the back of your mind. Like, oh, what am I doing wrong? How can I grow? How can I improve?
Right.
You're not like, you can love it. And like, I know a lot of people generally like love like being an influencer, that type of thing. But if you don't have that little like idea in the back of your head that wants to drive you to like improve and like think about growing, you're just not gonna like, you're not gonna worry about it, but you're also never gonna get anywhere.
Yeah. Well, and like the people who may come off as genuine, they're just better at faking it than everyone else. Like, I'm just gonna say, like, they want to grow too. They want subscriptions. They want donations, and they want to do it full time. They're just better at being genuine in front of a camera or convincing you that they're genuine. Like, but that doesn't mean that they don't want success.
Mm-hmm. And it's not wrong.
Right. So like, that's why it bugs me so much when people call each other out. Like, it's one thing follow for follow. Obviously there are things that are straight up like kind of counter, like that are, I don't even blame those people, because if it works, whatever, but I won't watch someone who does that, only because that's usually a sign that they don't have good content. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, content should be king, and promoting good content should be okay. I don't see anything wrong with me sending a YouTube link to my friends of a video that I'm proud of, or even posting it on a subreddit. If I'm genuinely proud of the content that I made and I want to put it out there because I want people to see what I made, fuck you if you're going to try and call me out for promoting myself. Like, that's just part of life, and everybody does it. And everybody wants to be, it's human nature. Dale Carnegie said like one of the top 3 things that people need in life is to feel important. Besides food and shelter, like the feeling of importance is what drives people. So like, I don't know. I've never had a problem with people self-promoting, and it kind of bugs me when people like shun it so openly, or like, I don't know. Maybe like they're doing what most people are too afraid to do. But we're all, like I said, we're all chasing the same carrot. Like, no one wants to fail.
Mm-hmm. Like, the most recent example of that would probably be how the new Hearthstone expansion dropped like 2 weeks ago. So Disguised Toast is like one of the biggest ones, and a lot of people in the subreddit Hearthstone were mad at Toast because he had clickbaited some content. It was like 3-4 videos, 100% win rate decks, and it's because on stream he made these decks, went 5-0, and then you want people to click on the content, so you're just like, oh, 100% win rate, haha. Like, no one expects it to be 100%. It's just entertainment. Right. And people got so mad that he was like, oh, he's clickbaiting, he's using like this content. It's like, you do it because it works. Like, sure, you can get mad that it's clickbaity, but you're putting yourself at a disadvantage if you aren't doing it.
Right. Yeah, no, I mean, there's a reason that Disguised Toast is a successful Twitch streamer. He's not stupid, right? Like,
Hmm.
he's been around long enough to know, like, that's what you do. And it's funny because, like, the ones, y people are okay with, like, one side or the other, but as soon as you fall somewhere in the middle, like, it's not okay for some reason. Like, if you
Hmm.
look at Dr. Disrespect, who is like obviously it's satirical, but he's also like 100% just self promotion, self aggrandizing, like that is his brand, and people are okay with that. Or people are okay with someone who's like 100, they feel 100% genuine, right? But like then most of the people fall somewhere in the middle where they genuinely enjoy streaming, but they might also occasionally try and plug something or talk about their stream or whatever. And people are like, oh, that guy's self promoting. That's so annoying. It's like, why, like, why is it okay for some people but not others? I don't know. It just, the only thing, the one of the other ways I'll draw the line is when it's systemic, when it systemically supports some people over others. I don't like that. When it's out of our control as a community. For example, when Twitch was running Ninja commercials in front of other people's streams, like, to me, that kind of crosses the line only because, like, that's the platform directly, like, deciding that, Ninja is more important than all the rest of us. It just
Yeah.
feels gross. It doesn't feel good to have somebody else's stream promoted, like, in the commercial right before yours. So maybe I'm a hypocrite for that, but I don't know. I don't have a problem with people being proud of their work and wanting to talk about it. Like Meshyf and Crispy Audio both posted their Twitch links in chat. And like, to be honest, Meshyf does our Chiefs beef, and I think everyone should go check him out. And Crispy Audio was a guest on our podcast. Super successful, interesting young man who I don't care. Like, I'll gladly promote you guys. Even though your hours are almost impossible for me to ever catch one of your streams, but yeah, you guys are entertaining. I love me a good late night Meshyf stream when I'm up working on stuff. I lurk around in there occasionally,
Hmm.
but I don't know. Like, it's so silly to me that people care about it so much. Like, you've got Twitch police who are like who want to, like, enforce their own moral, like, code on everyone else about what is and is not acceptable on Twitch.
Hmm. Especially like self-promoting on Reddit is probably the hardest things to do just because so many people have opinions on what self-promotion is. Like, oh, wait, you made this video and you posted it here. That's self-promotion. And then other ones is like, oh, you made some content that you're proud of. Yeah, sure, we'll allow it. And then it's like different people have different ideas on what constitutes even self-promotion
Right.
as well. So it's a lose-lose situation.
Well, yeah, and to me, anything creative or artistic, like, it all falls under the creative category, right? And so, like, it bugs me the fact that some creative things are okay to self promote over others. For example, like our videos, they frown upon self promotion, right? Like posting your own video on our videos, even though it could have taken you hours to make or whatever. Whereas if you go to, like, a smaller kind of niche community, like, let's say bead sprites, right? 99% of the R bead sprites subreddit is people posting their own creations. And it's like, look at this awesome, like, full size Zelda that I made or whatever. And people are like, dude, that's awesome. And it's all just like kind of, but it's people posting their own creations.
Hmm.
But if it's a video or a song or, like, certain creations, certain mediums are not okay to post your own work. I don't know. It's very silly. And depending on which subreddit you're on, some are just, like, so hardcore compared to others.
Hmm. Especially, it's like without that discoverability, without getting your name out there, you're really not going to grow. And then when everybody is saying like self promotion is bad, don't do it. It's like I don't know how they expect people to like. I don't know how they expect people to grow. Like I don't know what they think the current people that are already big, like what steps they took to get there, because they probably did similar thing. It doesn't matter. Like oh well, I've been here for like 6 years doing this thing. It's less about the time and more the content and getting it out there and getting it found.
Well, yeah, and so bringing that back around to Lil Dicky, he was actually banned from our hip hop heads subreddit for self promotion. Like in his early days, I think he like created a couple like Reddit accounts, and he was posting his own even before his album. Like he had some singles that he dropped that were pretty funny. That he made YouTube videos for, and he would drop them on Reddit in a couple different subreddits, including hip hop heads. And he got banned from the subreddit. And so it's kind of funny to see him go on to be successful. And he's still to this day, I'm pretty sure he's banned from that subreddit, even though he's like a multi-platinum selling artist now. And he's like, but they were just like gatekeeping him so hard because he kept posting his own content.
Mm-hmm.
It's all just so ridiculous because you kind of need those platforms, right? Like either Reddit or Facebook or Instagram. You need a place where the eyeballs are.
Mm-hmm. Especially like the more niche the community is, because for as many people say Twitch is huge, in the grand scheme of things, Twitch is still really small.
Right.
Like if you say, oh, no, good example, because this happened to me. If you're out and about and you got a camera pointing at you and you're talking to it, the first thing people think is, oh, are you a vlogger?
Yeah.
And then if you say, no, I'm live streaming on Twitch, they're like, you're doing what on, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it's the bigger platform, these larger platforms with more eyes, you need to promote on there if you want to ever get seen.
Nope,
and
you
a
can't.
lot of those
You're not
other
allowed
platforms
to.
are like, no, that's self-promotion.
Yeah.
And and I find it really funny too, because I know a lot of the like pretty big streamers on Twitch that play like one game, like League of Legends, YouTube and Reddit is pretty much like just solely advertising. Like they have an editor that does all of that for them. The editor gets like all that revenue. They use it purely for advertising. So people are like, oh, this dude does these sick plays. I saw his YouTube video and he streams on Twitch. Well, I'm going to go there and like watch it live.
Yeah. Yeah, it's all just funnels, right? Like it's all just funnels to where you want them to end up content wise. I have zero ambitions of ever making money on YouTube, especially the way things are going with like all the adpocalypse stuff and demonetization stuff. So I know that I most likely am not going to make any ad revenue ever from YouTube, even if I ever did get enough subscribers. But the point is, you need it just for the views, just for the eyeballs. That's like the number one reason I have a YouTube channel at all, is just so people know that I exist and can find my Twitch channel or hitthebucket.com or whatever. That's it. That's the only reason I have a Twitter. That's the only reason I have YouTube. There's a Facebook group that I'm the only member of because I don't promote it.
But it's there just in case.
Yeah, there's a JimmyNavio.tv Facebook group just in case. Like if I ever,
It's only there so whenever there's a Facebook integration, you can integrate it. I don't use it though.
You have a Reddit for the prawn? Oh, I have a separate Reddit login for that. I have like 4 Reddit logins. I have one that only subscribes to cryptocurrency subreddits. And then I have like my main one and a couple other ones for various reasons. Which a lot of the apps on the phone allow you to quickly switch between your different accounts, so it comes in handy. I love that Reddit accounts are truly anonymous in the sense that you don't even have to enter an email address if you don't want. The email address is optional if you forget your password and want to recover it. But you can just create accounts willy-nilly without even needing an email address or anything. Just, so you can have 5 different Reddit accounts that all subscribe to different things.
It is funny though how on Reddit people view how much karma you have as like a level of trust as well. They're like, "Oh, this account's brand new,
Yeah.
no karma," and they're posting this thing. Like they posted it in a lot of these places today. Seems shady. Probably a bot. I'm gonna report it. But if you had an account for like 6 years, hundreds of posts, 10,000 karma, people are like, "Wow, so this guy's a real human behind this. He definitely doesn't have any bad intentions behind posting this video here today."
Yeah, I should probably take advantage of that myself, but for the most part, anything I've tried to do self promotion wise, with a few exceptions, has mostly gotten shot down. Because my Reddit account, looking at it right here, I'm in the 9-year club. Let's see, I can pull it up. 9-year club sequence editor, which I think was this last April Fool's. I'm on Team Orangerd. I did the Summer Santa in 2010, and I have a verified email account. And I have 12,261 karma. So I guess I should farm my I should start taking advantage of my karma, and I'll just sell my persona to companies. Be like, hey, I got a 9-year-old 12,000 karma account. You want me to post stuff for your company?
I mean, that is a business on Reddit.
I know.
That is something people do.
Yeah.
I still do find that really interesting that companies see like a Reddit account with like those like specific requirements as something of value to them as like an advertising platform. Because really it doesn't feel like that.
Right.
And then it also makes me question, you can really easily spot the bad like promotional stuff. Like, oh, this is clearly an advertisement. This wasn't organic at all.
Right.
It makes me wonder how many were advertisements, but it was just so good that it didn't even cross your mind.
Yeah. Meshyf asked, does anyone else make it a habit to post shit of people who you like, though? And I will say yes. If you go through my Reddit post history, my cat is driving Lady Navio crazy right now. I've posted videos from like clips from Favor, Mr. from the Ring of Favor. Let's see. Who else? I post a lot of stuff in specific like gaming subreddits from either like clips or news that I've found. I posted some stuff about Minion Masters players. There were a couple that I posted from other DLC team members that actually did really well and gave them a pretty large view boost. So yes, I do try and get involved in post content from other creators that I enjoy. And you can hope that they return the favor. But I don't know. Reddit's weird.
It is a really, really weird social media site because of that anonymity as well.
Yeah.
It's like you can't really trust anyone, but they are trying to move towards that direction of being more like Facebook, which I don't really like. Like I like it because it's so anonymous and it's just like a funnel from all these other sites for content.
Yeah, I think in fact, I think there's certain features that they restrict access to now. If you don't have a verified email or if your account is under a certain age, there are a few restrictions of things you can and can't do. And the verified email badge is something that shows up in your profile. So a lot of people use that as a gauge of some level of trust, even though you can just make fake email accounts. For some reason, people think, oh, he's got a verified email. He must be a human being. But
yeah, really doesn't mean much. You could just Google like fake email account and then click the first link.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you can create temporary emails for like signing up for spam shit or just to remain as anonymous as possible. But I think as long as your content has some level of value and it's not just purely regurgitating someone else's work or trying to sell a product or whatever, like as long as you're trying to make content that's in some way interesting or funny or contributing to a specific hobby or group or something, like I don't care if you made it or not. It shouldn't matter. If it's something that you think other people will enjoy, post away. I give zero shits. In other news, why don't you tell me about this whole Sekiro thing?
Well, what do you want to know?
So
It's a great game.
Well, yeah, I haven't played it at all, and I know I've seen everybody and their mom stream it on Twitch, and we did kind of talk about it, I think, already. But you were talking to me about this PC Gamer post,
the PC Gamer article
that spawned the copy pasta that has been floating around the internet for the last couple weeks. I have it up here. So why don't you explain what happened?
All right. So basically, for everyone that didn't know, so a writer for PC Gamer put out an article saying, let me bring it up myself so I don't get it wrong. Let's see here. PC Gamer status. I beat Sekiro's final boss with cheats, and I feel fine. To which a lyric instantly responded, "Fucking noob," which makes a lot of sense because Sekiro, phenomenal game. The story is pretty good. The combat is phenomenal, but it is very difficult. But it's a good kind of difficulty because every time you get your ass kicked, you get better. You learn what they do. You beat them, and then you just feel like you've accomplished something. And it all culminates into the game's final boss, where he basically uses every move that you've come up against.
Oh, okay.
So it basically, like, if you have mastered the game, the boss will be a cakewalk because he only does stuff you've already seen. But it is still very challenging. But then the writer of the article used a third-party client to modify the game to slow it down so that he could read the boss's movements and still have a ton of time before he had to make any kind of reaction. And a lot of people really didn't like that. And it spawned this great coffee pasta. You cheated not only the game, but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing. You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked and nothing was gained. It's sad that you don't know the difference.
Burn. Yeah, that's some harsh truths.
Yeah, it's really philosophical because it kind of makes sense. Because I know some people were claiming like the game should have like an easier setting so it's more accessible to people, but that's not really the point. Because it was especially funny. There was a gamer that only has an arm and a leg, and I believe played through Sekiro and still beat it. So, like, the game is perfectly like accessible, like just get good.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just another bad mark on video game journalism. Because honestly, like, you can get pretty good video game journalists on YouTube, everyone that's independent that do it because they like to do it.
Right.
Because for the most part, a lot of these article writers for sites like PC Gamer, like IGN, a lot of these people, it feels like they don't like video games or they don't play video games.
No, they just do it because it's popular and it's a job.
Yeah, pretty much. It harkens back to the Cuphead thing where the guy couldn't beat the tutorial.
Yeah. I definitely could see that parallel. A lot of these these game industry employees could actually give couldn't possibly give less of a shit. But they have to do it for their job.
Yeah, and it was And I'm sure this wouldn't have been such a huge deal if for the fact that the same writer made other articles saying tips and tricks on how to beat Sekiro. So it's like you cheated to beat the final boss, and here you are telling other people like, here's how you can beat the game.
Right.
Like it's not an oxymoron. It's such an irony.
Yeah. I'm glad it's a good game, though. I do intend to play it. And so you have an interesting perspective on it because you didn't play any of the Blood Souls, like Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Demon Souls. You never played any of those, right?
Demon Souls, never played Dark Souls, never played Demon Souls, never played Bloodborne. Yeah, I've never played any type of Souls game before.
Yeah.
So this was my first one.
And you beat it?
No.
Ah!
I'm still on the final boss.
Won't you? Well, I mean, it's okay to cheat, apparently, so just get it done, dude.
I don't want to cheat. That's the thing.
Gotta earn
I
it.
want to know that I've beaten him with my own skill. Because every time he kills me and I get one shot, I know it's because I fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, that's what's so good about it. It's not like, oh, I died because of bullshit. It's no, I misread what he did, or I didn't dodge fast enough, or I didn't deflect and I died. That's why.
Yeah.
Because I know if I were better at the game, it wouldn't be that difficult. It's just like reading what they're doing. Because their tells are pretty forgiving. Like, oh, if he pulls his arm back, he's probably going to thrust. If he extends it out, he's probably going to do the AoE thing. To which you have like the appropriate countermeasures. Like, you already know how to do it. I'm just like too slow, or I'm just not good enough to do it in time. But eventually I'll get there.
Yeah.
It's a 4-stage fight. I've gone to stage 3.
Ooh, I just saw this, and I heard about this, but I just saw this article. Konami just revealed their full Castlevania Anniversary Collection lineup, and you guys know I'm a huge Metroidvania fan. So I heard that they were doing the Anniversary Collection, but I hadn't really heard too much about it. Let's see. Anniversary Collection will be released on May 16th for Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4, Windows, PC via Steam, and Xbox One. The collection will be priced at $19.99. Let's see. The titles included will be the original Castlevania, Castlevania 2, Belmont's Revenge, Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, and Super Castlevania. Rounding out the collection will be Castlevania The Adventure on Game Boy, Castlevania 2 Simon's Quest, Castlevania Bloodlines, and Kid Dracula. The last game on the list received a Game Boy remake and sequel in North America. That's cool for $20, and I think a lot of those games have never been released on anything other than like handheld or console. So the fact that they're releasing
Let alone in the US.
Right, and on Steam, dude, that's cool. So like you could play through all the Castlevania games through Steam for $20. Now they just got to hit all of the ones that I want Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and then all of the Game Boy Advanced ones. Those ones are the ones I've like those are my favorite ones. So maybe that'll be next. That'll be in Anniversary Collection 2.
For only $10 more.
Simon's Quest was such a good game. A lot of people hated that game because it was kind of different from the first one, but I love Simon's Quest. It's a great game. It had more RPG elements to it. Like there was a town where you could like talk to people and buy stuff rather than just being.
And then, you know, it's funny. In my head, I was about to say, while the other ones are more of a Metroidvania, but it's Castlevania. That's where it comes. That's where the name comes from. That's where the Vania comes from.
Yeah.
So it's funny to like call it that when it is like the originator of that.
Yeah, I think the ones that really solidified the genre, in my opinion, are Castlevania Symphony of the Night and Super Metroid. Because they, up until those two, they had a lot of kind of the elements, but like those are the ones that had like everything that you expect from a Metroidvania, as far as like the map and the way that the level design is and all that stuff. So I really hope they keep doing more of the same. It's a good sign if Konami's going to release more and more of their old console games on PC. I'm all about it.
Mm-hmm. Especially remastered.
Heck yeah. Aria of Sorrows. Yeah, that one. There's like 2 or 3 Game Boy Advanced Castlevania games that use the same formula that Symphony of the Night did, and they're all fantastic games, but they're either really expensive if you want like an actual copy of them now, or you have to play them through like an emulator or something.
Mm-hmm. It's not quite the same.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's actually funny. Speaking of games that get expensive, I was actually watching a few videos the other day about the homebrew community for the 3DS. And it's a little bit of a tangent, but I found it so funny how when these homebrew guys were like figuring out how to hack the 3DS to like load custom cartridges,
Right.
the guy that finally like figured out the hack to get into the software and like really allow it for the homebrew to happen, he posted, "Okay, guys, in the next couple days, this is the game you'll need if you want to crack the 3DS." And then he finally posted it. It was like this shovelware title for the 3DS. And instantly, all copies of that game shot up tenfold because everybody wanted it. And I just found it so funny.
It just had the right like combination of software and hardware that allowed you to like.
So basically, the game in question, I forgot what the name of the game was, but it had a custom level editor. And when
Oh.
you made the game, it would store the custom levels as a string, but there was no limit to the string. So you could put in basically an extremely long string that would load into the 3DS's.
It would just overflow the memory so you could reprogram whatever you wanted.
Pretty much, yep.
Wow.
So they found it, the guy found it in that title. So it's a tangent, but it's also really interesting.
No,
like
that's cool. I love that stuff. That's really cool. I love, that's one of my favorite parts of AGDQ, the Awesome Games Done Quick, when they have like they always have the segment where the hackers come out and they show like how they basically programmed inputs into a robot so that they could do stuff like that, where they could like rewrite whole memory sections of the game and like completely change the behavior of it. They could reprogram the console through just hacking different vulnerabilities in the cartridge.
Mm-hmm. Or like as simple as like on the NES, just like with simple like button presses, because you load stuff into the RAM and then you load it in a specific way,
right?
And it causes it to do unintended stuff.
Yeah, that stuff's fascinating to me. How they even go about figuring that stuff out, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty impressive.
Like imagine going back in time to the inception of the Nintendo, popping in Super Mario World and being like, "Hey, I can skip to the end screen like right now," and they're like, "Hmm," and then you just like hit some buttons, and they're just like it's not making any sense. You're like jumping forward, left, right, all this stuff, and you're like, "I'm actually loading like a bunch of data into the RAM," and then it just skips you right to the end of the game.
Right.
Like
or
they wouldn't know anything like why that would work.
They even like now they're getting so good at it. One of the ones they did, I don't know if it was this year or last year, but they completely reprogrammed. I think it was Super Mario World for the Super Nintendo, I want to say, but they reprogrammed it using some of those techniques, and they basically programmed Flappy Bird into like all of a sudden the screen goes blank, and it's just like a little one of those flying birds in the pipes, and like they basically just using inputs, they reprogrammed the cartridge to be Flappy Bird with like a score in the top corner and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Like shit's
crazy.
Hella like that's so impressive. I can't even imagine figuring that stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that it's funny that specific game with that level feature in it was how they finally
with that exploit
figured it out. Oh yeah, Zoom. For anyone who does some trading, me, James, and I, JC and a few other people out there, we do some crypto and stock trading on the side just for fun, and we joke about it in the Discord.
Wall Street bets.
Wall Street bets, yeah. We I just saw right before the stream started that which Zoom is the software that we use for this podcast. It's called zoom.us. That's the website, zoom.us. In my opinion, one of the best like video conferencing software tools out there. They just went public. They just had an IPO and it shot up like, what is it? The one article here says Zoom's shares soared 54,000%. Something like that. Like it just exploded. It surpassed a lot of other companies like day one.
Mm-hmm.
So wait for the first dip and then buy some and then just sit on it because they're really good at what they do. Even on bad connections, that's why we use it, because when we have guests and stuff, even on bad connections, we rarely ever have like audio or video cut out. It's really good at adjusting the encoding on the fly.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's actually one of like the first like 5 rules of investing. Do you use the product? Do you think it's good? Then it's probably a good idea to invest.
Yeah. So get yourself some Zoom stock. I wonder, is there symbol Zoom? I didn't actually look at what they're.
Let's see, Zoom.
But here's
Zoom stock. It's the second one that comes up. Oh, that's sad. It's ZM. They're on the NASDAQ. If they were on the New York Stock Exchange, it'd probably be Zoom.
Yeah, man. I might have to pick up a few shares. What's it at right now?
$62.
Dang. Already?
Yep. Up 72%.
Man. All right. Maybe I'll wait a minute. Gotta pay off some debts from other ventures. Oh, James, I spend too much money. Make it stop.
We can't. We have wants and desires. We spend money on those wants and desires. I got ramen like last week, spent $30, and I was like, that's half of my food budget. Like 1 week and I spent.
Oh, you got like fancy ramen. Like you went to a restaurant and got some good ramen, not.
That's why I had to start off. I had some gyoza, 8 of them on this little plate with the soy sauce, and I was like, ooh, this great. He brings out the bowl, massive bowl, tonkatsu ramen. I was like, this is what the soul needs. And then I got the bill and I was like, I knew it was going to cost a lot.
But it was so good.
It was so good.
See, you've been spoiled ever since your dinner at TwitchCon. You got a taste of the high life, and now
I had that $30 filet mignon. Now I can't go back to just eating ramen all the time.
You got to get the fancy ramen now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, no Sheaf's beef this week, so it's probably going to be a short episode, but I did find a fun would you rather that I thought would be. I wanted to see what your opinion was, what your thought process was. You don't even know what this is, but I was very curious what your take would be, and I think I know the answer. So it's, would you rather have no fingers? So you have hands, but it's just stumps, right? Like no fingers. Or have no ears.
No fingers, no ears.
And I'm assuming if you have no ears, that means you're also can't hear. So you just literally have skin on the side of your heads. There's no holes at all.
I'm gonna have to go with no ears.
Yeah, you think so? You'd be deaf for the rest of your life? And I'm not talking about from birth. I'm talking about like you wake up tomorrow and you one or the other.
I think, I still have to go no ears.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd be able to live not being able to manipulate objects. Like, I don't think I could do it.
You got some stumps?
I do when I wake up is go on my laptop and check what's happening.
You just got to get really good at like voice commands.
Oh no, I would not be able to do that. Just computer, Pornhub. Like, I can't.
That's true. That would make browsing porn a whole different experience.
I'd have to become a just chatting streamer because I can't type, can't play games.
Yeah. Well, now don't say that because we just talked about how a dude with one arm and one leg beat Sekiro. Right. So
I gotta learn how to control the controller with my feet. It's the only way.
Yeah. So I think honestly, if it were like, I think my answer would be different if it was from birth versus tomorrow. If I woke up tomorrow, I think I would rather have no fingers. I like music and audio and I don't think I could wake up tomorrow and just not be able to hear anything. Never knowing that I would never be able to listen to like my favorite song again or like just people's voices. Oh God. Like, however, if it was from birth, I think losing your hearing versus never having your hearing is probably very different experiences, right? Because if it was from birth, you don't know any different. Like it's always been this way. It's always been that way, right? And so it's probably easier for you to learn and adapt from that. But waking up and just all of a sudden being deaf and having to start over at 35 years old, like learning sign language and not being able to hear things that all I have is a memory of them now. Like, oh, I remember how that sounded, but I'll never get to hear it again. That would drive me insane. So I think I could, if I had nubs and no fingers, like if it was 2019, I think I'd go no fingers just because like
that'd be weird. No knuckles. So you wouldn't have this like protrusion either. It'd just be flat.
Yeah. Just nubs. But I think accessibility has gotten significantly better, even in like gaming and technology and stuff. Like Microsoft has that whole accessible controller now that's built specifically for like special needs or people missing limbs or whatever. So I think I would be fine with no fingers. I think I would adapt. I'd figure it out. Typing, I type pretty fast. That'd be annoying to have to either learn how to type with my stumps or just get really good at speech to text.
Some really big keys. So you can just like
I just mount a giant keyboard on my wall and just pound the keys. Yeah. I really don't think I could survive without my ears. That'd be brutal.
That'd be I wonder how that would feel though. Like to have zero sense of hearing, like at all. Like just waking up in complete silence because you just can't perceive sound anymore.
You can feel vibrations, from what I understand. Like a lot of deaf people, they still enjoy like, you hear stories about sitting on a speaker and feeling the music, like feeling the vibrations of it or whatever. That's about the extent of experiencing audio.
With those like bone conduction headphones, would you still hear stuff with that?
Maybe. Well, and it depends. There's different types of deafness. Because there's some deafness that has to do with the connection of your eardrums to your brain. And, there's some deafness that has to do with your brain interpreting sound. And some of it, like some versions are healable because they can just replace your eardrum with the cochlear implant now, where they can send the electronic signals to your brain that can be interpreted as sound. So like technology is getting quite a bit better there, but it depends on the type of deafness that you have, like where that disconnection is.
So if your brain just can't like translate what sound is, probably wouldn't work.
Yeah, like but a lot of the most common types of deafness are becoming more and more curable. I don't know if you've ever seen those cochlear implant videos on like YouTube.
I've heard a lot about them though.
Dude, they're pretty insane. Like especially the ones with like young kids where they're like, all right, we're going to turn on your implant for the first time. And they like flip a switch and then all of a sudden they can hear. And it's just like this little like thing that it's like magnetically connects to like the side of your head by your ear, but then it sends signals to your brain.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
I actually remember seeing there's a lot of drama with that in the deaf community.
yeah, there is
A
actually.
lot of people say like you're like taking away like their culture of being deaf by giving them the ability to hear.
Yeah, like there's the deaf culture is a very like strong, close knit community, and so to them being deaf is just like who they are. It's part of a definition of them as a person and them as a community, and so they see it as it doesn't make sense to me because at the end of the day, it's a limitation. Whether they want to admit it or not, and that may be harsh on me, whatever, but like if a kid, especially at a young age, has a choice between hearing or not hearing, and you're going to say, no, I'm not going to give you that opportunity because I want you to be a part of my deaf culture, like who's the selfish one in that situation?
Yeah. Especially like down when I was doing tax return prep, I filed tax returns for a few people that were deaf. And even though they were like there on time, it's like, oh, we can't like do your tax return yet. We have to wait for the interpreter to show up so that we can actually communicate.
Yeah, because other than like they can type messages on their phone or write it on paper, but like it's and it's limiting.
Mm-hmm. Especially like if I have a question, it's like, okay, gonna get a paper, write out the question, show it to them. They got to write the answer back. It's just it's extremely limiting. So for someone to be like, no, we don't want you to have it because we want to experience the deaf culture, it's like such a weird thing to think about that there are people with that kind of opinion.
Yeah.
But I don't know, I'm not deaf, so I feel like I can never really like understand that perspective.
I wonder how different the audio experience is too when you're using one of those digital devices, because I'm guessing it's probably different than like organic sound, because it's just electronic signals being sent to your brain. And a lot of like in a lot of those videos when they first turn it on, they're like, it's so loud, because they've never experienced sound, so everything is loud, right? It's just like overwhelming, and they have to like turn it down, and they're like, oh, you'll get used to it over time and turn it up. But could you imagine that? Just like not for your entire life, you've never had that connection. You just don't hear things, and then they flip a switch, and all of a sudden this new, completely new sense that you've never experienced before just gets turned on. I can't even imagine what that's got to feel like.
I don't think we ever could.
Yeah. And in one way, I am kind of jealous of the fact that like they have the option of completely turning off sound.
That is true, yeah.
Like they can just mute life. Just be like, I want it to be completely silent in the middle of a restaurant, at a concert. Like they can just be like, click, and just be in pure silence whenever they want. That's got to be an interesting
deaf privilege.
Deaf privilege. God damn it, we're going to hell. You and your white deaf privilege. Yeah, there's one more would you rather, and then we could probably call it a night. It's a short podcast today. Sorry, I'm busy. Life is happening. But I did want to chat for a bit about some of the goings on. Let's do this one. This one is, would you rather only have a first grade education? So that's your life. First grade. So you can kind of read, you can read okay. You got basic math. Or live in a world where everyone else only has a first grade education. Everyone else. You're the only person with like...
I feel like I'd have to choose myself to take on that burden, because I don't think I'd want to deal with a world where I'm the smartest person.
I don't know. You could do a lot of good.
I don't think I could. And then it's interesting too, because it's like, okay, first grade education. Does that mean I'm just like stuck at that level of education?
That's what I'm guessing. I'm guessing like you basically live life with a first grade education. Like that's as far as you can go mentally.
Like I'm just mentally disabled. I can't go past that.
Yeah, you're just a dum dum.
That's tough. Like I can't really remember like how I was in the first grade. Because I know when I was young, like I read at a pretty good like level for my age.
Right.
But it's like, did I read like that in the first grade? Not sure. Was I still like doing like picture books at that time? Did I move on to chapter books yet? Like I'm not sure.
See this my initial reaction is to go year out and just think like for the betterment of all mankind, I'll bite the bullet and just be a dum dum so the world can progress. But then like the dark side of me is like, dude, if everyone else was at a first grade level, do you know how easy it would be to just like manipulate everyone into doing whatever you want them to?
Yeah, but everyone's at a first grade level, Jimmy. People can't drive anymore.
Okay, yeah. So I guess that is that based on like if it were we woke up tomorrow and all of a sudden I'm just as smart as I am now, but everyone else is a first grade level, or is it like that's how society has always been? Because if I had to give up all the technology because I'm too dumb to create it because everyone else is at a first grade level, yeah, I wouldn't be okay with that. I'd be a really good dictator, though. I'm not a very good cook, though, and everyone else is going to be a first grader, so we're just going to eat like macaroni and hot dogs every day because that's as good as the cooking's ever going to get with a bunch of first graders walking around.
I mean, yeah, you could teach a first grader how to operate some factory machinery. Just like, okay, you're going to hit this button, turn this knob, hit that button. Simple stuff. So, yeah, baseline society would probably still function.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I don't think I could, though. Yeah, the premise of Idiocracy. But that's more just society just got dumber over time. Not like they're stuck at a first grade level.
Right.
Because they still know how to do stuff.
Kind of. Like like that. Remember, like all the crops are dying because they're feeding them. What was the Gatorade called in that? It was called it's got the electrolytes you crave. Well, I forget what the drink was called. But like it comes out of the drinking fountains and like they're using it to water the crops, so all the crops are dying and stuff because they basically Brando, that's right. They replaced water with Brando because of a marketing deal that Brando made with the government. So they pushed out water because they didn't want competition. But yeah. Yeah, driving no one would get anywhere because no one can drive a car in first grade. And if they tried, it would just be a lot of accidents. I guess, yeah.
Those questions, damn. Really makes you think.
It'd be fun for like a week if I was just like a smart, kick-ass human being. You could probably do a lot of good though, to an extent.
I don't think I could do it though.
We'd never make it to Mars.
Be talking down to them. I don't think I could ever like. I don't think I could last if I couldn't talk to people like at an equal level. Because it'd be like talking to my nephew. It's like, yeah, I can talk to him and he'll respond.
Yeah, but the difference is they have adult bodies. Like you're not walking around with a bunch of first graders. Like you're looking at a full-grown man who's just like dumb as fuck.
Yeah, but it's like talking to someone that is a child.
Yeah.
And it's like, sure, they're responding and they sound like a normal adult. But you're just like, oh, so what do you think of the weather today? And they're like, sky clear.
I just farted.
Yeah, it's like, I need substance in these conversations, and I'm not getting it.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There's some deep first graders.
Oh, man, that would suck. Just, why is the sky blue? Oh, well, you see, because the rays of light, they disperse across the atmosphere. Why?
Yeah, that is true. Like kindergarten, first grade, like that's when the chain questions come. So you're literally just going to have people asking you like chains of questions all day long. But why? But how? But why?
And it sucks too. That
I didn't think about that, dude. That would be
you
a
really
pain.
don't want to like keep talking to them when they do that, but they only ask because they really are like interested. Like, well, why does it do that?
Yeah.
Like, why? And you're just like,
Well,
look,
and
I'm not a scientist.
I think that's part of the reason that like evolutionarily kids are cute, right? Because it's a lot easier to endure that when it's like, you know, a cute little 1 year or a cute little first grader who's like genuinely curious and they got those big eyes and they're asking you questions because they're trying to learn. Versus if a full grown man is asking you those same questions, I think you would have a lot less patience to answer those questions.
Mhm.
Just go like,
You're just like, dude, get the hell out of my face. I don't want to see you right now.
you, you're old enough to know the answer, you fucking idiot. Like, yeah, if just by the sheer nature of it not being a child, I think I would lose my patience like instantly.
Hmm.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
It'd be tough.
Yeah.
But
No.
that's why those would you rather questions are always so fun because you just like keep thinking about it like more and more. It's like, well, what if this is there too?
Well, and with the if I was a first grader, that would be kind of cool in the sense that like ignorance is bliss. And when you're in first grade, like and if everybody around you just assumes that you're dumb and like you're always just gonna be a first grader intelligence wise, they're just gonna let you get away. Like you just get to play all day. Cause you're you know, like society's just gonna you know have to
Just
take
can't get that social security.
yeah, I mean, ignorance is bliss. You're too dumb to know any better, so you probably just have a fun, easygoing life, right? Unless you know you're dumb. Like,
Well, that's a Forrest Gump situation.
well, yeah. Like, do you walk around knowing that you're just dumb as a bag of rocks and that you'll never get any smarter, and you have to walk around watching everyone like progress? That would be tough. That kind of see, I'm back and forth on this one. I don't know. it's a tough one. That on the website I'm on. Do you want to know which one won?
Was it everyone else?
Live in a world where everyone else is a first grade. It was 69% of people said that they would rather live in a world where everyone else is a first grader or has a first grade intelligence. Only 31% said that they would be the dumb one.
That's interesting.
The website is either.io. Like EITHER. It's like this, either this or that type thing. So it's basically would you rather. And every time you refresh the page, it gives you another random one. I think there's categories too. Like if you create an account, you can like, I think you can sort them by rating or category or different things like that.
Mm-hmm. I think I've heard of it, but I don't think I've been on it.
Yeah. But
I like the one do you push the button? And it's like, you get this, but this happens.
oh yeah. You get $1 million, but it's a random person in the eastern United States dies every time you press it. How many times do you press it?
My favorite derivative of that is where the dude's like, now this button, when you press it, a random person will die. But, and then it pans to the guy, he's just mashing the button.
Before he even knows what he gets, he's just like going for it. Yeah.
He's like, well, people are dying, it's gotta be good.
Right. Whoa, what's up, JimmyNavio and pals? Hi, old friend. We're just about to end, actually. We're getting towards the end of the podcast. We usually do this on Wednesday, but my schedule's all over the place, so we snuck one in tonight.
Only a day late.
I'll throw a sub on this B. Well, thank you. I appreciate your support. And make sure you go tell all your friends about hitthebucket.com. We've got 38 episodes up now of this podcast. We've been doing it for a while. And once I'm not so busy, we'll try and get some guests back on here and stuff. But the next couple months are going to be pretty busy for me. So, and James has finals, and then you're moving back to California for a bit.
Yep, for the summer. Got to find a job.
Oh dang!
Money for TwitchCon 2019.
He asked in chat, you got married, right? No, October 18th. That's also the other reason that I'm so busy. So, got a lot going on right now. And James has to finish out his school year, get a job, move back to Cali. Are you going to be living with your folks and your brother and stuff again?
Of course.
Got to endure another summer with your brother?
I do. See, if I got a job, like if I knew I had a job like ready to go, then I could also just be like looking for just like a one bed, like a studio apartment, get some internet, go live over there. But since I don't have any job planned, it's like just got to put up with it.
Yeah, and even if you did, you might as well save the money because it's only for a few months.
Yeah, rent free, free food, internet.
Yeah, no, it wouldn't make any financial sense to like come home and get an apartment.
Mm-hmm.
I moved back in with my folks when I was finishing my degree, and I got out almost debt free. So I worked a little part time. I taught a little bit while I was there, did some tutoring, lived with my folks, just did my best to not have to take out any loans. I got a couple grants. So, yeah, it can be done. Even though college is crazy fucking expensive, it can be done.
Mm-hmm. Luckily, I don't have too much debt, but I will have some debt.
Yeah, but you're going to be a CPA eventually, so...
4 years, that's the plan. 3 if I'm fast about it.
And in the meantime, you'll be an accountant. Like, you're actually getting a career that is going to pay for itself.
At least that's the goal.
You're not taking $80,000 in student loans for an art degree, so you're being somewhat smart about it.
Now, Jimmy, I still have a year left. I could always change my major.
If you change your major with the 1 year to go, I will find you and I will kick you in the dick. That's a promise, James.
I'll hold you to it.
I'll hold you to it. But yeah, so we'll try and do one next week. No promises. It looks like as of right now, it's kind of an every other week thing. Also because Mr. Meshyf, who does our Sheaf's Beef segment, he is like weeks away from having another little Meshyf running around. He's already got one son, and his lady Meshyf, Bella Bandit, for those of you who are a part of our little community, she is large with child. I think she's like ready to pop any week now. So he's going to be busy as well. So Sheaf's Beef is going to be hit and miss. We don't have one today because they're in the red zone. She could walk in the room at any moment and say, "Get in the car." So that's exciting. I'm sure maybe some upcoming Sheaf's Beefs will involve more baby stuff. Struggles with child. But yeah, I think that's it. We will briefly mention, if you didn't know, the whole thing about Notre Dame, the Notre Dame Cathedral had a pretty tragic event occur, and much of the infrastructure, at least the wood infrastructure, was burned. The foundation was saved, and there's a bunch of French millionaires who have already promised to donate hundreds of millions of dollars to have it restored. But still, I mean, historically, that's pretty insane that the Notre Dame Cathedral burned. That's... And already, of course, people on Reddit making jokes because Ubisoft announced that they were going to give away Assassin's Creed Unity for free, so people could visit the cathedral in the game. And someone was making a joke about burning down like the Pantheon so that they could get the new Assassin's Creed for free. Yeah, to get Origins for free. They're like, "Oh, we got to burn down some Greek." So, yeah.
Yeah, I think I saw that on Unethical Life Pro Tips. Want a free game? Just burn down the Pantheon.
Burn down a monument. Get a free game. Please, no. Do not make that a thing. We're not encouraging that we start destroying historically important landmarks for free handouts. There's probably better ways to get a free copy of a game. But that's sad. Hopefully, they're able to restore it as closely as possible. I'm sure there's so many 3D, there's so many pictures and 3D recreations and probably blueprints and all that stuff. So they'll probably be able to recreate it pretty accurately.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's not going to be the same building that stood for hundreds of years.
It's going to be the new fire-resistant Notre Dame.
Yeah. Did you guys hear about the dude that got caught trying to burn down the cathedral in New York City today? 2 containers of gas and lighter fluid said his car ran out of gas and he was taking a shortcut through the church. What? I did not hear about that. So hopefully this is not a pattern. There's already conspiracy theories about about how the fire started. They're saying it was construction or whatever. It's, I don't know. I'm not gonna.
Strange times we live in.
I'm not even going to begin to speculate about who or what caused it. At this point, most sources are saying that it was just an accident. So I'm not going to assume any malicious intent. I'm not going to read into any theories until there's some founding evidence to support them. But anyway, 'twas a good 2-hour shindig. We just knocked out 2 hours. When we get talking, time just like disappears.
It really does.
It did not feel like that was 2 hours just now. Because before we started, we're like, what are we going to talk about this week? Like, what happened this week? And
yeah, we were just like, nothing really happened.
And now 2 hours later, it is done. We'll probably go ahead and do a little raid or hosty on somebody, and we'll call it a night, and we'll be back in a couple weeks, most likely. We'll try and land a guest. I've been trying to get Gator Pete to join us. Hopefully we can get...
He should be good to go.
Well, I think this was his last week, like finishing up his house and moving out. So, yeah, in the next week or two, he should be good to go once he gets his temporary living conditions set up. I think he's planning on moving in with his folks while he looks for a new place. He's selling his house, so that'll be exciting. So many big changes this year. I feel like 2019 is like the year of change. 2018 was the year of darkness. In 2019, a lot of changes happening. A lot of exciting developments. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds. All right, James.
All right.
Any YouTube? You still slacking?
Pretty much, yeah. I definitely. My inbox is just full of game codes I have been sent. So as soon as finals is done, which is in 2 weeks, I have plans to actually do stuff with all those codes.
I'm looking forward to it, man. Got to see some YouTube content come out of you. Don't you usually try and crank out some of that stuff when you're home from school too?
Yeah,
because you have a lot more free time.
So much free time. It's like I'm not doing anything.
Yeah. All right. Well, you'll have to keep us posted and let us know whatever happened with that game that you were calling. Oh,
we're gonna start building.
Whatever happened to that game that you were calling Minecraft 2.0?
It's not out quite yet. People are speculating. They're like, "Where's the beta?"
What's it called?
Hytale. Hytale.
Hytale. I saw another one that looked kind of similar, like voxel style, but I think it was more of a farming type game. I think it's called like Staxel or something.
Yep. The devs actually sent me a key.
Oh, there you go. See, I would love to see a James28 Staxel YouTube video, man. Come on. Let's get on it.
I don't have the time.
All right.
But I'll make the time. 2 weeks. Especially because finals, I'm not sure how much actual, final stuff I have to do. Let's see. What are the dates I have written down? The 2nd, the 3rd, and the 1st. So yeah, that week, not don't actually have to like do a ton of stuff. I just have to have all like my finals due like by that week.
All right. Better message me. I want private links in my DMs every week for the entire summer for each video that you made.
All right.
One video a week. That's your homework for the summer, for my own personal amusement.
Mm-hmm.
So get to work. Summer school is in. All right. Anything else? I think we're gonna send it over to Tropical Moisture.
Ooh.
She's on right now. Previous Hit the Bucket guest. If you want to be a guest or know anyone that you think would be an interesting guest, don't forget, hit us up at hitthebucketpodcast@gmail.com. Or you can come just find my Discord or my Twitch channel or my YouTube and just send me a DM. Or I got Twitter too. Just look up JimmyNavio. I'm all over the place. Just hit me up. Let me know. Say, hey, I think you should have this guy on because he's funny. Or, hey, you should have me on because I'm awesome. I still get to be the final judge on whether or not you're awesome enough, but if you're awesome and you're doing cool things, we want to tell people about it. So hit us up. Like Tropical Moisture. She is a streamer, very entertaining. She's been a guest on Sushi Dragon's channel a few times. We met her at TwitchCon. Super nice, super funny. She's into like papercraft and she does like dancing on stream. She's really fun, really entertaining. So check her out.
Lots of art.
Yeah, we'll probably have to have her back on again at some point as a guest. She was a ton of fun. Anything else, James?
I don't think so.
Good luck on your finals.
I need it.
No, you're smart, dude. You're gonna do fine.
I know, but it's papers. So it's like I'm gonna leave it right up till like the final like 6 hours before I actually do it. It's gonna kill me.
Or you could just start now after the podcast.
But that's hard.
That's motivation. Actually, do it after the Earth song drops.
You're right.
We have less than an hour to go, so I'll probably I'll be on Discord. We can chat about what we think of the Lil Dicky premiere of his song Earth. He's gonna gonna save the world, apparently, according to
change the game.
According to Justin Bieber, we're about the Earth-saving revolution is about to start. So T-minus 51 minutes until that comes out. If you're watching this live on Twitch right now, and if you're listening to this later on, then you already know because it's out and you've probably listened to it. All right, let's do it. We're gonna send it over to Tropical Moisture. Hope everyone has a good week. And I may try and get a normal stream in the next week or two. I may just slip one in. I've been itching to play some games, and a couple things came out that I want to try out. So no promises, but I'm gonna try and get one in. Thanks, James, as always, for being so flexible.
You're welcome.
Had to push it back a day, but we made it happen. All right. Good night, everyone.